It's a privilege to be here, working
Yes.
through some
Hello,
technical
Dr.
difficulties.
Frank.
Hi there.
Yeah, how are you?
Doing great, thanks. Somehow we still have some technical difficulties, but wonderful. Thank you.
And welcome to
Hi.
the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Frank.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yes. Before starting your session, I want to introduce you to our audience, Frank.
Yeah, before, I don't know if you can, somehow I can't get my program to load up so that I can actually see what I'm doing. All I can see is you, or if I pull up my program, all I can see is that. So I'm not sure how that works. We didn't get it, I guess, synced with the sharing. So I'm sorry, but doing the best we can.
After your introduction, you can share your presentation.
Okay, I did the PDF for the group, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure
Okay.
how we'd link my actual
Okay.
presentation.
Yeah. Okay. We have to share from our end.
Okay, so then how do I get to the point where I see my presentation, obviously, but I can't see anything else?
Yeah.
Or am I going to just stay right here and then I'll see my presentation because I can't
Yeah.
control it?
Okay. Give me 2 minutes. We will share from our end. Yes. Dr. Frank is a holistic optometrist with nearly 30 years of experience and advanced fellowship training in vision and light therapies. He is the founder of Enduring Endeavors LLC, an initiative focused on healthy eyesight, vision therapy, and holistic vision. A U.S. Army Reserves veteran, Dr. Forangi has helped thousands of children and adults overcome vision-related challenges, including dyslexia, ADD, ASD, and traumatic brain injury. Through his books, website, and social media content, he shares his mission, better vision for better living. He continues to impact lives globally with his entrepreneurial efforts and commitment to holistic eye care. You have done a really great job, Dr. Frank, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. It's a blessing to be here. And hopefully the experience I have will enlighten you and help others as well. And so let's get started. As far as the presentation, maybe a little technical difficulties, but hopefully the heart of the matter will come out. And some of this is new to me, so please bear with me. But I wanted to start talking about a transformative vision therapy case report of somebody that I was able to help almost 25 years ago. And it had made such an impression on me because when she was all done with her program, this was a 35-year-old woman, she said to me, after the vision therapy was done, she said, if I was treated like this when I was younger, my whole life would have been different. And that has been part of my heart ever since, as far as the passion of what I do and what I continue to help others know. So that with her case report, even though she had gone to other eye doctors for many years and had many different sets of glasses, nobody took the time to do an in-depth vision exam that included way beyond just the simple 20/20 eye chart. We quickly found out that she had some problems with accommodation, how the eyes go back and forth with focus, and how she was able to track and the deficits, and something called convergence insufficiency. When somebody can't bring their eyes in close, that negatively affects their reading, their learning, their ability to earn for workplace activities. So as I talk about this here at the Women's Conference for Leadership and Health, this woman comes to mind because afterwards, she also noticed improvements with her reading on vast levels, headaches diminished, and her overall confidence started to soar. And she was able to be more confident to do things like sing in her church choir and to initiate outgoing activities. And amazingly, other doctors who treated her started noticing these improvements that her overall mood, her concentration improved, and her health improved. She had a renewed desire to have better well-being, overall wellness for diet, exercise, everything. It was really the beginning of a turning point for her. And the other doctors noticed this, and they were able to take her off slowly as improvements came about from 9 different medications down to just 1, which was just for blood pressure. Because a lot of the medications were not looking at the root of the cause. They weren't looking at the substance of what was causing the symptoms. So it's kind of like if you or I had broken our foot or something had happened, then we would maybe become depressed or have difficulties because we can't play and work and do everything that we would like to do. And if somebody then presented to a doctor just based on the symptoms of, say, depression or what we couldn't do and did not look at the root cause, we would probably think that would be kind of ludicrous or almost malpractice. But unfortunately, for thousands of people a day, worldwide, maybe tens of thousands, there's misdiagnosis looking at the symptom and not the root cause. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get to continue. And so I wanted to make known that vision therapy is relatively unknown. It is a specialty within optometry, and it can be helpful and life-changing in 3 main areas. Remediation for learning-related vision problems, which also have other terms like learning disabilities, dyslexia, ADD. I'm not saying all of that is directly from vision, but there are a lot of research and correlations that vision plays a major role. And if the vision is not correctly identified, then there may be assumptions that their vision is okay. For instance, if they just do a cursory screening and don't do a comprehensive exam. And if they do a comprehensive exam, but not a further in-depth exam for vision therapy related issues, they may not have the data to make the right diagnosis. The other area that it can be helpful for is rehabilitation. Like if somebody has head trauma or some other traumatic injuries, strokes, and that negatively affects their ability to use their vision. And some of that involves the visual processing. Because one of the amazing things about our vision system is that at least 50%, and some studies indicate possibly more, of our entire brain is dedicated to vision, which really is amazing. If you think of all the other parts of our body, our skin, smell, everything else, but vision takes up the majority of our brain circuitry. So therefore, if you have a hit on the head or an aneurysm or something happens, it can affect different parts of our visual field, how we see side vision, can affect balance and other areas. So those are things that vision therapy can be helpful. And then the third area is enhancement. So for sports, for hobbies, for even work-related activities, like to increase attention, concentration. 80% of our average daily activities that we do, for those of us who are blessed to have sight, it is our leading sense because 80% of our daily activities revolves around visual input. So if that visual input that we're trying to process is deficient, or if we're not making sense out of it easily, then it can be distracting. And as far as vision, even if it's at a good level, oftentimes it can be at a better level. That's one of the reasons why, part of my tagline is better vision for better living. So for instance, with sports or other high level activities, and again, even in the workplace to increase concentration and attention, if we can get somebody from good to great, help them to improve, that can be the difference of whether somebody stays amateur level or professional, say in sports, or whether somebody makes it to the next level to get a bonus or another career move that's positive. So definitely having better visual skills will give the person a better advantage. Excuse me. The other thing I want to do is just talk a little bit about what is vision. So vision obviously helps us to understand our world. Sometimes we take it for granted, but a lot of electrical impulses traveling in and to the brain, making sense out of it. Again, it's our dominant sense. I want to go a little more into the terminology of holistic vision. So as it was mentioned, I'm a holistic optometrist. So with that, we look at vision as a balance of mind, spirit, and body. And we look at the elements of that to improve a person's healthy eyesight, their visual performance, their function, and overall wellness. Because basically, as I think, when we look at the vision system, we're tapping into, like Shakespeare said, the eyes are the windows to the soul. And if we take the time to understand the overall process, not just the anatomy, not just the eye chart, but we look at the larger picture, we can dramatically improve various functions within our overall, activities. And that also brings to mind that there are other terms related to holistic vision. It can also be called rehabilitative vision or neurooptometry, or even a vision therapy specialty vision. Basically, it's another step beyond what you might consider as basic. And that's important because a basic vision exam can be very good for some people, but particularly those that have other problems with learning and the rehabilitative problems that we mentioned. And if you want to have better vision to be enhanced, then we should look at the whole area that can be helpful to individuals to have that comprehensive vision therapy examination. One of the things that I have on my website is a resource page so that you can find doctors who do these things and seek them out. I personally don't do a lot of the vision therapy anymore. I practiced a little over 25 years and had almost 100,000 patient encounters, and thankfully, was able to help thousands. And now my main mission is to get this word out. I'm so thankful to be here for this presentation to help do that. And also through other content and other means, just trying to inform, inspire, and entertain with some of the other elements. Because in my business, in addition to doing vision books, I also write other books like psychological thrillers. But let's get back to our vision at this point. So vision skills are foundational for lifelong learning and earning potentials. So I want that to kind of, pause there for just a second. That it's almost like if you want to go for a 2-mile run, you want to make sure you have decent, sneakers on, maybe the right socks, all that mindset, foundational things before you just decide to go on a 2-mile run barefoot. So in this way, we're looking at vision skills as foundational for lifelong earning potentials. And as I mentioned, when vision works properly, it can help us to excel. But if the vision is not working properly, if it's deficient, even a little bit, sometimes it can be 3 or 4 little things that can almost be hard to detect. But when we put them together, it becomes a bigger issue that then impacts that person. So I want to, just remind that it is foundational for learning and earning, and that early intervention is key. One of the things that I like to tell individuals is our national guidelines from the American Optometric Association that children should be examined by an eye doctor between the ages of 6 months and age 3. Most people don't know that and have never done that. I didn't have my first vision exam till I was around 10 years old because I couldn't see what was going on in school and things. So that's when I entered into eye care. But the guidelines are that between age 6 months and 3 years, we should have a vision exam, at least a baseline, but with a doctor who understands pediatrics, and doesn't have to be a pediatric surgeon. It can be an optometrist non-surgeon who understands pediatric vision. And then they should have another vision exam somewhere between that age 3 to 4 range. And then before they start kindergarten or first grade for formal education. So by the time they start school, they really should have 3 vision exams. At a minimum, they should have 1. And we need to stop being reliant on vision screenings that try to do well. However, they often cause more harm than good because people have this false sense of security that their eyes were checked when in reality they weren't fully checked. And then it literally becomes a checkbox that people say, well, your eyes are good. But the analogy I think of is if we had a school nurse or pediatrician or somebody just do a cursory checkup on our kids' teeth, would we say, oh, that's great, they're good. They're good for another year or two? No, we would think there's a dentist that can help their eyes, their teeth. Not even sure, you may say, well, why is the nurse even bothering checking? We have a dentist. But the reality is that should be the thinking with eye doctors. The screening is somewhat of a tool, or perhaps, but it's better to have a comprehensive vision exam and to have that early intervention. And particularly for individuals who have issues with reading, learning, attention. If they haven't had a vision therapy evaluation, I highly recommend that, even if they're an adult. Going back to my first case report, she was 35 years old, and then she finally got the help that she needed. Okay, we're going to go on a little bit to the next level, is light as a nutrient. Excuse me, I wanted to pause there because most of us have never heard that. Our bodies are set by the circadian rhythms of light. Early days, before technology, before electricity, everything, people normally, they rose with the sun, and then as the sun set, they relaxed, and eventually they went to sleep, maybe with a candlelight or fire. That's still in our DNA. And our circadian rhythms are either positively or negatively affected by light. And that can, again, negatively or positively affect our mood, our sleep, the way the hormones and neurotransmitters are produced. A lot of that is dependent on proper lighting. So for instance, when we are on computer devices, things that have a lot of blue light, if it's before bedtime, like 30 to 60 minutes prior, it really stops our melatonin production. So what is needed are blue blockers at that time, particularly 30 to 60 minutes before bed. And some blue blockers are better than others. But the reality is that we do not need blue blockers during the day, even if you're on the computer, because the blue light is needed. What we need is to take rest breaks. We call it a 20-20-20 rule. But every 20 minutes of close work, give your eyes a 20-second break, looking 20 feet or farther, okay? And also try to take some holistic sun breaks. Get out there, even for a minute or 5 minutes, preferably different times of the day, so that, early morning is good to prime our brain with the activities of the light to get our hormones going for the day and the neurotransmitters. And then midday and towards the end of the day. And then essentially at nighttime, when again, we use these devices that have blue light, which is typically during the day, we need to shut those out. So that's when blue blockers are needed. And I do give information about what I consider one of the best blue blocking technology companies that's on my website. But let's go into this fascinating slide. I saw something like this about 25 years ago, and it really stopped me in my tracks. And this is customized, a little different. It's actually from my book, Vision and Holistic Health. But what I wanted you to notice is that when we look at the red side, the human blood hemoglobin versus the plant chlorophyll, okay, the difference is that the iron is in the center for the human blood, and magnesium is at the center for the plant chlorophyll. Everything else is the same. That is amazing. We see how we're linked, as far as the energy production. And we know that with plants, certain ones need lots of direct sunlight, some need a little bit, some need a certain amount of phase and complete darkness. But basically, light will rule how they basically live or die. And some of the early studies that have been used into humans was related to how light worked with plants. So this is something that's actually kind of emerging. Even though I first heard about it again like 25 years ago, it's still something that's not known as much. Like more research is needed, and more abilities, for us to take it into our daily lives. But holistic ultraviolet exposure is important, and I also have a blog about that on my website as well. Wanted to go into now talking a little bit of just some simple steps. I like when I attend a course, I like to have at least one good nugget, maybe more. Hopefully, these are some of them. Some of them are repeating, but to increase our natural light exposure, to follow that 20-20-20 rule, to schedule a comprehensive vision exam, typically for adults about every year or two, for children, particularly every year while they're in school. And then, as I mentioned, the importance of the blue light filtering glasses. Wanted to go in just briefly. This is the book cover of my Vision and Holistic Health book. Thankfully earned Amazon bestseller #1 in 2 categories this past January, so I'm very thankful for that. And inside the packet, PDF, or here on the slides if you have it, there is a link to get the book. And then I wanted to just briefly go over, my company. I have started 2 optometry practices that specialized in vision therapy. And over the years, I was able to sell them as a blessing. And then I was able to do other things. But now I focus on the online information, particularly the books and other content, as I've mentioned, to help with informing, inspiring, and entertaining individuals. So that is the name of that company. In addition to vision and holistic health, I have 4 vision books that include vision, 2 for adults and 2 for kids. The 2 for kids are on their way this year. The chapter book should be ready in about a month or so, and the coloring book is going to be about 3 months or so. So basically looking to help individuals, whether they're children or adults. And essentially at this point, I want to say thank you. And again, I can take any questions or anything that's needed to help clear any of these issues up. Or also through my website, there's information to contact me, through my socials, and there's an email there. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Is Dr. Frank?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
there.
thank you so
Hi.
much for your valuable time, Frank. And we have a question from our audience, Frank.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
Can vision therapy truly change someone's life direction?
Yes.
Yeah.
They asked if can vision therapy change their life direction?
Yes. Can you please on your camera?
Let me see how I do that. Turn on.
Yes.
There I am. Or that.
Yeah.
I don't know, was it off during the presentation or okay?
Yeah. Can vision therapy truly change someone's life direction?
Yes, it can. Typically, if there's been misdiagnosis or if there hasn't been any diagnosis, so that the direction could be in one area, but then completely turn. And this is also with the case report that I had delivered earlier. The person's life, it was almost as if it was put on hold until their vision was improved.
Thank you for your answer, Dr.
You're welcome.
Frank.
Thanks.
Yeah. We are
Thanks.
very
Yeah. Thank
honored
you.
you joined as a speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My
Yes,
pleasure.
and
Thanks so
be
much.
on the backstage and please join our next session.
Okay. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Welcome. Bye-bye.